Freebird. Coming to you now quite live from Peanut Studios. This is a Better Records production. I'm Sascha Saintevic. With me is Briano Hawk. Briano.
What's up?
Hey, I didn't ask you.
Well, you're taking too long.
I'm trying to set
Yeah, we're in a hurry here. Come on.
We're in a hurry. We got all night.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so let's dive right into the topic. Topic day. Can a fan base ruin a band for you? So can it, like, there's a band, and can just knowing what who the fans are and what they act like, or whatever preconceived notions you might have of them, justifiably or not, can that sort of turn you off to a band completely? Or now, a lot of us would say yes and no to that. Like most people would probably say, yes, I've seen it happen, but I'm not this sort of person that this would happen to. Of course, that's not true entirely. I think we can all think of as examples. We can all go down the list. A good one would be the Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
So, like, if you know what the Juggalos are, you know what the Juggalos are like, and for whatever reason you don't like the whole appearance of them, or you don't like some of the criminal associations that come with them, justifiably or not, because people will have debates about whether they should be on any of those lists under the FBI. But if you just don't want to be associated with that might turn you off to at least publicly declaring yourself as a fan of the band itself. And there are other examples of that too. Like a lot of new metal fans were seen as being shitheads back in the early 2000s. So a lot of people were turned off from a lot of things that came along with that, including bands like Korn, which predated, justifiably or not. A lot of people were like, you know what? A lot of people who listened to Korn also during that time listened to Limp Bizkit, also listened to, Edema. So I don't want to be in that sect with any of those people. So I'll just sort of will shun that whole group, and you see that happening in a lot of other, cross genres too. So how do you feel about all that?
I don't know. If you don't like a band, you're not going to like a band. It's not. I don't really think it's the fan base that's going to draw you away from them. Now, like you mentioned, ICP, the fan base would draw you away from them just because you see how stupid the fans
regardless
are.
of what the music is.
If you haven't heard the music yet, you don't know if you like it or not. You're just like, ugh, with these juggalos, juggalettes, what the hell is that, with this? These guys are a bunch of idiots, or a bunch of rednecks, whatever. But if you haven't given her a chance, you can't necessarily say you're drawn away from the band because of the fans. You're just drawn away from the look. So, I mean, yes and no on the drawn away from a band, because if you're not, listening to them, you're not giving them a chance. You're not really drawn from the band.
I feel that in some ways, though, let's say you're like, well, you never get it. It sounds like you're going into like you'll never give yourself a chance to listen to it.
Yeah.
So you'll never know whether you like them. I feel like in some ways it's even once you listen to it, just because you have that association in your head, you might be more, let's say, might have a more negative response just involuntarily, maybe, or subconsciously, just because I distinctly remember, I was exposed to the Juggalos before I even heard a single ICP thing. Yeah. And my reaction was pretty negative to the Juggalos and everything that they were about, that when I actually heard, the ICP song, I couldn't disassociate the two in my head. Now, I like to say, like, I can give them a chance, like that I'm this unbiased, blank slate of objectivity. But I could even at that time I realized that was kind of bullshit. So even all the things that were coming in my head is like, oh, why these songs weren't good? Why this sound, this melody doesn't match? Part of me was going like into, I've got this image of them in my head that I'm just not into. Yeah. And I just can't help but have that be an influence on me when I'm listening to this music. And and I'm stating it out right. I'm not saying this is the right way.
You're going off of what you saw from the fans.
And I'm not saying this is the way it should be. I'm not justifying myself if people out there saying like, oh, like that makes me, the person that's in the wrong. I accept that. I totally accept that. Yeah. But I'm just giving you the honest truth to it. I'm not going to pretend that didn't happen to me. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and say like that there was some. Now, of course, if I'm having a rational conversation with someone, I will tell them all my reasons why I wasn't feeling it, like the music. And I'm not going to mention even the fan base. I'm just saying that it certainly did have an influence on it.
Yeah.
And the same is true for a lot of other things. There's a lot of bands that, I don't know, I feel like a lot of times a lot of diehard fans, obsessive, and I'm talking about like obsessive fans, can make the entire experience shitty for everybody.
Yeah.
And I know, like, this is where, you might get into sort of like weird territory talking about this with some, because they'll say like the obsessive fans are the ones that make the band or the artist. They're the ones who, dedicated time to it. They're the ones that in some ways form the image of, whatever community exists for the band. But a lot of times the ones who, it's not even the band themselves that start this whole community of like, especially like, I've mentioned it before. This is probably the third time in a row I've mentioned punk bands.
Yeah.
Where the punk bands themselves are the ones that are making the strict conformist, like decree of like, this is what people who listen to us need to be like. And one that I'm thinking of right now on top of my head where I experienced this sort of shunning thing is the Casualties, where, I don't know what your experience has been with that, but the fan base acts in a very conformist, non-conformist way. And that, I think, ruins it for people who might casually come to it. They get that in, like, they experience that level of, they would say devotion, I would say obsession. And they're just like, okay, you know what, I just don't want to deal with this shit where someone's constantly telling me I need to wear this, buy this, like this, dislike that. And it becomes like a religious experience, which, for someone like me, I'm totally turned off of that just by that alone. Even in a secular setting. But I know for some people, that sort of devotion is what makes the experience alive.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, that's I don't know. That's the devotion to a band from the fans is different than fans turning other people off to like that style of music or that band, stuff like that, because you get a bunch of, overzealous kind of a-holes who are like, no. I was first to discover him. I'm the one who knows. I'm the biggest fan. I'm the famous. Blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. And it's just the people. It's not actually...
Yeah, and it's not the band.
It's not the image. It's not the band. It's, it's the people just being, dumbasses and douchebags and stuff. I mean, yes, there's I know a lot of people actually who are turned off by like the, emo music and goth music and stuff,
like My Chemical Romance,
because of the image that is associated with goth and emo, sad or dark or hurting yourself or whatever, all that stuff. And it's not the music, but the fan. There's people who are just like, well, you listen to that style of music and this is what you're going to dress like. This is how you are. This and that. So again, a disassociation from the actual band and the actual music and the fans. So yes, you can be drawn off from it, but I mean, me necessarily, I can't be. It's not the image of the fans or the fans themselves that are drawing me away from the music. It's the crap of the crappiness of the band, like Metallica. They suck. They've always sucked. Their fans are stupid, a bunch of rednecks. They all, say the same damn thing. Oh, no. See, they were good back then. I was like, yeah, back then. And they weren't even that good. They were bad then, and they're bad now. I've stated it many times.
Ladies
the drinking game.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Throw them back.
Knock one down right now.
There you go. Because, yes, Metallica, they sucked. They've always sucked. I've been drawn away from them forever. And their fans don't make me want to get anywhere close to them either, because their fans are stupid. I know a lot. I have some friends who are Metallica fans, and I tell them to their face, "You're stupid. That's a horrible band. I don't see why in the freaking hell you would even enjoy them. Well, their music's way too long-winded. They don't have any good anything. Every once in a while, they may get lucky and get a good little melody going for like 10 seconds, but that's it."
Well,
it's whatever. but I'm biased.
Okay, that's one that's one thing. But go stick back to the topic. But what about when a band and its fans get a particular image that may not even be justified? Like I know in the '80s there was I don't know if it's still there was a short period in which a band like Anthrax got somehow it became associated with like, oh, that's what the neo-Nazis listen to. Now, let's forget about the fact that Ian Scott is Jewish, who's in the band. Like, that totally should turn that argument. Like, they show that argument. But there was actually, because neo-Nazis tend to listen to, like, the harder rock stuff. They have their own neo-Nazi, hate rock bands. Punk. But occasionally they'll listen to, there is a whole hate rock genre in that. But there is... there's sometimes other bands, like even Rammstein will get associated with it, but I think that has more to do with the fact that they sing in German and people hear German, they think Nazi.
Yeah.
Like immediately, that's maybe an unfair bias.
Yeah.
But like, let's say like a band like Anthrax, where one of the members is clearly, like openly Jewish. Like, is it fair then? But because a couple of neo-Nazi knuckleheads are listening to it now, all of a sudden we're like, well, that's a band for Nazis. Like a reaction like that seems unfair. And even on a lesser scale, let's say something like a boy band, like somebody like Justin Timberlake started out with NSYNC, and a lot of people might still, whatever he makes now, they might listen to that and they're like, well, yeah, but that's boy band. So teenage girls are supposed to listen to that. I can't listen to that. That's what the teenage girls do. Yeah. Not my reaction. That's what the reaction might be. And so unjustifiably, they just sort of shrug it off, push it off.
Yeah, I mean that's
now isn't that would also sort of fall into you're putting a fan base onto it.
But I don't know. That's a different thing. That's not even the fan base. That's just the association between what you think and what the music is. So yeah, Justin Timberlake, which was with NSYNC, and you're stuck with it's boy band, it's poppy, it's bubblegum pop, blah blah blah. That's what he is. He hasn't been with NSYNC in how long? He's been
a solo artist no longer than he was ever with the band.
He's been on his own doing his thing, pushing out, singles after singles and doing some good songs, doing some bad songs, but it's not my cup of tea, as they say.
Right,
so I mean, I can't say I can't say it's like, oh, it's all crap. He has, he's a talented musician. He's, an artist. I give him props. You do all the time. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's not my cup of tea, like I said, but he's not NSYNC. He's not, boy bandy. He's not that stuff. He's himself. I don't know how else to put it. Yes, he's a pop artist.
And I think a lot of people do recognize. I'm just saying there is some subset of people who might just naturally, instinctively turn on.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's like, oh, well, it's Justin Timberlake. Oh, well, he was in sync. He's never going to lay that out.
17 years old and younger never even knew him as a guy.
But that's the thing. So. Even today, you say Justin Timberlake, you're going to think NSYNC.
I think
it's just kind of association. I've seen younger.
He wasn't in NSYNC in that life,
but I've seen younger people do that. Oh yeah, Justin Timberlake. Yeah, I liked him more in NSYNC. Like, what the hell?
You're 13.
How the hell do you even know that? It's like whatever. Cry Me a River. It's not NSYNC. Yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah. More songs you can mention. It's not him with the boy band. Right. It's him doing his thing and pop artists and whatever.
That might. But
there's that.
So he might be the example with him. Sorry to cut you off, but the example with him might be more like what some people might think is his fan base, or what is supposed to be his fan base. Even though in reality, like I think it's broad enough now as far as like people listening to him that it really is not the reality to those people who might have that.
But you can go into bands that had a fan base and then their fan base turned on them, and kind of pushed other people to go away from them, like Black Flag. Yeah,
because they changed. They
changed their singers and
they changed the sound. They went from punk sound to
their singer
more of a rock
changed too.
sound.
Henry Rollins ended up becoming the front man, and they went a different route and punk to more whatever
hard rock.
Yeah. And I mean their fan base, their punk fan base, being a bunch of pussies they are. They're like, oh no, they're not punk anymore. We're gonna change.
It goes back to
go cancel them.
Conformist, non-conformist.
Yeah. And so, instead of being against the system and doing what, punk should do, they're like, no, no, you're not against the system anymore. It's like Black Flag never really changed their message.
Yeah, it was always the same. It was just a little bit. But I felt like I never thought that the transition that Black Flag went through was a bad choice statistically. I like I'm willing to go through a change in the sound as long as I can, as long as I can see where they're going.
But that's the one thing is, I mean, fans who are the punk.
Yeah, it has to stay pure.
They were against the change that they did, and so those fans were dissing him, and other people who would have given him a chance in the change kind of backed off from it too, and had their mind changed in a sense because of the fact that there's too many people saying, oh well, no, they sold out, they did this or this and blah 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 whatever. And so yeah, I think that did change some people's minds, but anyone who actually gave him a chance and be like, oh no, hell, same message, same thing, different sound.
And they've got, I think they had much more mainstream success after this. And I think the problem a lot of times with some of these genres, especially like the reason why a lot of genres in punk and a lot of bands don't ever get mainstream message is number one, the fan base is totally opposed to it. Like the moment you start selling records, so you get onto a label or your own label, if you made one, your indie label starts getting more success, you're a sellout. I mean, we covered that in an episode on sellouts, so I don't want to shit on that, keep beating that dead horse. But a lot of times that's what it is. Like and this is like probably where it becomes harder for some people to get into it. But like where I say, like the fans can win it because if they become so insulated into their own little niche community, it becomes harder for outsiders to come into it. Like you're not going to get many converts if your message is like, this is our group, stay away.
Yeah.
Like this is our I'm sure for the people that are in it, it feels great because you're part of this. You feel like I like this band, you like this band. We wear the same thing, like we wear the same jersey. We got the same uniform on. We have this. We have something in common. We instantly bond. Like if you meet on the street, as opposed to we're strangers. We don't know each other. We have no commonality whatsoever.
Yeah.
I get that feel. Like if you meet somebody like. When you walk down the street and you've got your Nirvana shirt on, and the guy walks down the street and he's got a Nirvana shirt on, it's like, oh, like that dude and I, even if you don't say anything to each other, that dude and I could probably hang out. He might not be true, like he might be a total shithead. But I'm saying, like, you get this sort of there's a level of comfort.
Yeah, I mean that's the one.
And a lot of people want to protect that, and it goes to a point where it becomes exclusionary.
Yeah, but that's the thing. As you're saying. Like you're wearing a certain band shirt or whatever, and a fan of that band sees it. Normally, you'll get some sort of look or a little smile, or a little, oh hey, nice shirt,
the nod,
whatever stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, I guess it's to be nice and stuff, but to me, it's annoying as hell. I was like, yeah, pay attention to your own damn self.
I don't mind it. That's
just me, But yes, I've had it like, oh, nice shirt. Oh, thank you. Well, who the hell was that? What the hell are you talking to me for? Yeah, whatever. I play nice, but I'm kind of like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. But yes, the fans, like I said,
the fans can make it harder to connect to the band I think.
Like I said, I can't really say the fans have turned me off from music, from like certain bands, but I guess it can be. Like, I mean, some people can be turned off from it. Just me, no, because I'm like, okay, well, it's your choice, or you guys are idiots. Let me go ahead and give them a try. Every band that I don't like, it's not that I don't like them because of the fans. I don't like what the fans are doing or how they look. It's because I don't like their sound. I've listened to them, and I'm like, ugh, I don't like it. Just like I'm a fan of Manson's, except for that 5-year period that he was crap, or whatever it was. Dope Show and all that stuff. Oh, God, horrible choices. Horrible.
You didn't like Eat Me, Drink Me?
I don't know what the hell the albums are. I just know it's from after the Antichrist Superstar, it was crap. And then his
Hollywood.
Well, Hollywood was okay. But like I said, it was crap after the one. And then he had, pretty much crap throughout. And then he started kind of, getting back with the newer
Born
album.
Villain.
Huh?
Since Born Villain and
Born Villain, yeah, all that. Where he got kind of his older style back. He had here, some songs here and there. But I was like, okay, whatever. But I wasn't a fan, and it was his musical choice, not his fans trying to be like, oh no. You see, he had to change it because he lost a lot of fans, but he also had a bunch of fans who were trying to stick with him, and then they changed their mind afterwards.
Well, a lot of times really devoted fans will try to defend any choice an artist makes, no matter what.
Yeah,
like they'll stick with it like till the end. And that's kind of where you see, like, I guess what would separate the casual fan with like the diehard fan. Because casually someone can listen to it, they're like, okay, I like this, then the sound changes. Let's say like somebody liked the Black Flag's original punk sound, and they were like, and then they started to become more hard rock. They're like, it's not for me. Not the response of blasphemy, how dare you change the sound. Some are like, not for me, I'm going to move on. It's something else. And like some people might, though, like no matter what transition they go through, they'll stick with it. Like they change to some, like, I don't know if this guy has such diehard fans, but I want to use one example. I met Kid Rock. Like if somebody went through all of his transitions from white boy, Detroit hip hop artist to kind of new rock singer to this country rock,
southern rock,
kind of, and then southern rock.
It was southern rock, then he turned to country.
And now I'm not
He's not doing anything.
Now he's going to be a senator. Like okay, somebody stuck through him through all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you are either somebody that's like really versatile in your musical taste, and I applaud you for that, because you just go with anything, or you're somebody who's more devoted to the artist than you are to the sound.
Yeah.
And I've seen that sometimes too, where people are like, it's the band that they cling to. It's not so much, because I mean, okay, we can make the same argument for like Kid Rock can be seen as like, well, he's kind of a not that serious or a musician for some people. The Beatles.
Yep.
If you follow them from the early inception, when they were a pop boy band, to like when they themselves went through the revolution, like the 60s cultural revolution, which influenced them greatly, and the songs that become a to the Sgt. Pepper album, where things got where everything was like an acid trip. Essentially, in like to the split where now you had to like suddenly you had to choose between Paul McCartney's pop, like more mainstream tunes, to John Lennon's political activist message. That's you could say like to be a Beatles fan, like you got to be be worse on that sense too. But a lot of times also the split itself, they will still insist that the Beatles had the best songs, and everything that Paul and John did afterwards is crap.
Yeah,
I have said on this show, and I've said for many years now, John Lennon's best stuff came after the Beatles.
Yeah,
like it is just my opinion. It's like my opinion. He had some. I just think like
when he left.
I think I enjoy.
When him and Yoko
so
had to leave.
Yeah. Yoko was the driving force. of his many talents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like that's not so much so the same thing. Like, is there like there are also though John Lennon does have a fan base which can get really douchey.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I say that as a John Lennon fan, because I remember I was I'm like in this group of people. They're like, oh yeah, we're all John Lennon fans. We all agree his best stuff came out the Beatles. But then it went sideways really quickly, because suddenly the conversation became one of like, no man, John Lennon was the only one talented in that band. He was like the only one that had any vision. Everybody else was holding him back. Nothing ever done by Paul was in any way good. And I was sitting there like, well, none of that is true. Then all of a sudden, I'm like the odd man out in the group, and everyone's like, what do you mean? And then they try to convince you. Like, in that sense, like fan bases like that, I'm like, listen, I can agree with you on like one point, and then like all the reasoning you have is like totally makes me not want to state my opinion on this, because I don't want people, like somebody else may have come across that same group of people. And then when I say, well, I enjoy John Lennon stuff more solo than the Beatles, which is the same thing they would start out, their premise would start out, they're like, oh, he's one of them. One of these crazy ass people I met at some point, and I would just not want that attached to my name. So I'm saying like that would be one instance in which like a fan base that you may have
Can
come
draw
across
you
at some
away
point.
from-
Like it controls how you express yourself, and I know it shouldn't matter.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
it shouldn't matter, but people don't know you.
Yeah,
and,
but I mean,
you
that's-
don't want to be misrepresented.
Yeah,
by
but
people.
that's the thing is, I mean,
And people easily
can't-
put stuff on you.
You can't,
That is-
as they say, the old saying, you can't judge a book by its cover.
the hell I can't.
Yeah, sometimes the cover's falling off. You can't really tell what the hell the book is. But anyways, no, but yeah, I mean, you can't it's hard to disassociate yourself with the fans who are like crazy, and the ones that are sane.
Right, which
like
is
the ones who just go overboard.
The silent majority is always the same ones.
I mean, like the ones who go overboard, who are
crazy.
like they stick with it no matter what. They try to shove it down your throat like all Metallica fans. They're like, no, the greatest. You see the good. It's like, yeah, whatever. Screw you. You don't know anything.
I like the way you're like, you don't really judge a fan base. Or anything. You're shitting on Metallica fans constantly.
But no, you
yourself.
can't like judge them in the sense that like, here, let me try to rephrase that. Like you were just saying, let in fans and then, one's like, you're like, well, Paul made a better choice or whatever, made some good stuff, and then everyone turns on you. You can't judge them all, like, to be in that same base in that sense. To be like,
and I don't, because
no, but I'm saying that's the thing. It's you can't really do that. But the problem is, there's too many of those who are out there like that. Who are like, just stick it down your throat. So you have fans who are, you have people who are fans of the same band or genre, and then you try to talk with them. You don't know which road it's going to go down. And so you kind of want to dissociate yourself with them and just like, oh, I'm not even going to talk to them. It's like, yeah, they like that, cool, whatever. You don't want to like sit there and talk. It's like, oh yeah, what's your opinion on the Beatles before and after breakup? Do you think they did better afterwards or what? Because most of them are gonna do that craziness or whatever. Mm-hmm. Same thing like for multiple other bands except for Metallica. But whatever. I've heard a lot of stuff for Guns N' Roses fans, and then Chinese Democracy came out and that shut them up.
The funny thing is the people who were still sticking with Guns N' Roses for like the decade long, over a decade, that it took them a dozen years, they were like, no man, once Chinese Democracy comes out, like that's what they were holding out for. Then it came and it fizzled pretty quickly because you're like, I don't know what the hell I've been waiting for. Like,
yeah.
Like, I was 25 when I was anticipating, and now I'm like nearly 40.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even like Guns N' Roses anymore.
Yep.
Maybe a new reaction.
Yeah.
That I had.
But I mean, that's the thing is, it's certain styles or certain fans can, they keep change your opinion, but it's not necessarily the band itself that's stopping you.
Let's say, it might not be the band. So let's say you might still enjoy a band's music, but it will more so keep you from identifying as a fan of a band. Because like there's all this negative connotation that comes along with it that you don't really want to. It might not even be about like, like I'm worried about my self-image or something. It might be like, you know what, I just don't want to have the conversation. Yeah, I don't want to explain why I like something. Is what a lot of people
you don't
would
want to
say.
defend yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to defend yourself. You don't want to defend a band that you may not even be dead. You like the music, but you're not like, I will defend them to the end, because you're not one of the die-hard fans. Yeah. So like that you don't want to be associated with, but because they may be all that they were exposed to at some point when it comes to that, that's like the only thing that they that you're going to be that you're going to get lumped in with. Yes. So for a lot of people, it'll just keep them from like associating with the band in general. Like you just want to identify as a fan, even if you might listen to it, on the side. So like I know for a fact that there are way more Nickelback fans and Limp Bizkit fans than there are people admitting to both of those things. Oh yeah, like that's just their albums still sell. I mean, you could say Limp Bizkit has gone down, but people are still going. They still have shows. They still have careers. Yeah, people have shows. They're not bankrupt. They're not living on the street. They're not They don't have a fast food franchise that they had to start opening up somewhere.
Well, maybe Fred Durst.
Maybe, but Chad Kroger is still going up there.
Doesn't he own Kroger's?
Yes, it does. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm not even sure. I had to pause and reflect on what his name was.
Yeah, the Canadian
that guy.
Yeah.
That guy. Canadian Jesus.
Yeah.
So, but I know there are Nickelback fans out there. Have you ever met anybody who's like, I love Nickelback? And I know there are people out there who are there, but I'm saying in person. And I'm sure online, like if I go to one of the message boards, I'll find someone.
You know somebody.
I do know somebody. No names will be mentioned.
Okay.
I know one person, but older generations I'm not counting. Okay? Older generations I will not count.
Yeah.
We got a policy on the show. We don't know. Like we can identify ourselves, but we don't dox people out there that you might have to identify. I don't want anyone to be lumped in as a Nickelback fan and then have to deal with the repercussion of that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like I don't really rarely come across people who will say like I get more the reaction I get is like no that's not really my thing.
Yeah.
But it can't statistically it cannot be that there are at least a handful of people in my daily life.
Yeah.
That aren't into this. Like
And
so, that's like
here's the
I
funny
don't know if
thing
it's
on
the
that.
band itself or the sort of perceived stigma that's associated with
Here's
that,
the
or
funny
the fan
thing on
base,
that.
or what.
Like talking about Nickelback and Limp Bizkit. I've had conversations with people on Limp Bizkit, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not a fan," and then I just kind of coax them. I was like, "Yeah, well, I really liked their first album. It had pretty good stuff. From there, it was hit or miss for me." And then they started like, "Yeah, I was like, "Yeah."
I walked out to Nookie like crazy.
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, I thought you weren't a fan. Well, it's like I really liked their first. I think they did a great cover of the George Michael's "Faith." So that's what got me into them. Things like that, and that usually gets everyone else like, well, Nookie was all right, and $3 Bill was a good album, and I was like, I thought you said you weren't a fan. I'm a fan. I'm not a fanatic, but I'm a fan. People may judge me on that. I don't care. I haven't heard any of their albums in how long have they been missing?
They're in MIA. Well, they're not but that's the thing. They're not MIA. They bring albums like I don't know.
It's like I haven't heard the last album I've heard was what is it? The starfish, chocolate starfish, and the hot dog flavored water.
Dude, that was like 2000.
Yeah, that's the last
like
album I actually owned, and then I know the Behind Blue Eyes cover thingy.
Yeah, but that was a few years later. But that was the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm like you're about 2 decades behind.
Yeah. So I'm not like a following them, just like Papa Roach. I like some of Papa Roach's stuff. I'm a fan of their
Name one song
stuff.
outside of Last Resort.
I blanked actually. I do know it. Damn, I blanked on it. I know the other one.
Away with murder.
No. I know the other one where he's singing about the divorce.
Broken Home.
Broken Home. I blanked on it. I was like, God damn it, what's it called? I was like, We Are. No, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, that's POD. But that's it's like the one thing anybody ever brings up, like those bands only the early 2000s. Like, oh man, I was real big into Crazy Town. Name one song outside Butterfly. That's how I was gonna finish it.
But yeah, so
shittiest lyrics ever.
Like I said, I'm a fan of their older stuff. I haven't really heard of their newer stuff, but I have heard a couple songs recently, and I'm like, well, that's not what I used to hear from them, but I'm not going to judge them.
Yeah,
now here's one thing I think that just popped in my head since we're talking about the old, not really old, but old people. There's a band that had fans until they saw them live. Do you know who I'm talking about? The worst band to hear live from what I've ever heard. Ooh. And then when I heard them play live on a TV thing, I was like, holy crap, these guys, how the hell they even get an album?
You know what, off the top of my head, I might know the band once you name them, but go ahead.
Hoobastank.
Dude, Hoobastank has not been on my mind for a while.
I heard people like, oh yeah, no, really good, this and that. And then they came back from a concert and they're like, they're the worst band ever. Oh my God. It was like the band changed the fans' minds. They liked the albums because I guess they had a hell of a producer. But the live stuff was horrid.
You know what turned me off of
horrid.
Hoobastank turned me off?
I wasn't a fan myself.
The very first song, The Reason, when it was so flat to me that I was like, oh, dude, it puts me to sleep every time I hear it.
But I was never a fan of Hoobastank. But I just came to my mind. It's the fact that I did hear people who were fans. When they came back from hearing them in concert or whatever, they were not fans anymore. Yeah. And it's not because of the other bands in the thing. It's because of their performance alone. It's like, holy crap, that's funny.
Do you think, though, there are instances, though, where a particular image of a fan base is justifiable, though? Like, when you associate this with that band, like something like, even if the band themselves might not, be pushing that image. Like, Hootie and the Blowfish is associated with frat boys. It's kind of like douchey frat boys.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's, from what I've seen in college and everywhere else, it's kind of justified.
Yeah.
I mean, the people
because they were big on college radio.
Yeah, the people who tend to jam them even now, the most places I've seen is kind of like these douchey fat boyish types.
Yeah.
And like it's, and I'm not saying that's the whole fan base.
Well,
but
now it's a bunch of people with hats and boots.
Fedoras.
Yeah, because Doris does country.
Well, they've grown up now, like the douchey fat boys who listened in the 90s and the early 2000s are now, older.
Yeah.
Douchier.
Just like, the new hippie movement, as I always called it, because of, why did I blank on their name right now? I have it stuck in my head now. Me flowers, you're going now. 4 hours. Just go right now.
Go with him.
I can't think of the names. Whatever. But I call it the new hippie movement because, like, the Blind Melon and the other band I'm blanking on, to where they're kind of more of a hippie vibe. They're, college kind of vibe still, but it was more like the hippie-ish kind of dirty because that's the way they looked. The singer, like, almost lost his voice because he had, horrible singing. Or not that he sang horrible. It's just the way his style of singing or whatever.
It fucked up his neck.
It screwed up his vocal cords, and so he couldn't, like, sing for, like, almost a year. I don't remember. Like I said, it'll probably come to mind later on, but
I
can't
you're gonna shout it out in the middle of the podcast. Like, this guy.
But I mean,
and what I mean, like, a lot of times,
but that thing, I mean, that's the association.
Yeah,
like,
but it's justified
fans with the things. Yeah, it's justified. So whatever. Yeah, just like drowning pool fans.
Drowning pool.
Sorry. Yeah, I think we got a little off topic.
That would be the same new metal fans.
Yeah.
as they listen to all of the other ones, all the forgotten bands of the 2000s. They're in that great graveyard.
Yeah.
Of 2003 period.
But I mean, that's the thing is, talking about it, like fans, like the band I can't think of their name right now. People who see those fans, they think, oh, well, that band's a bunch, it's a dirty kind of, new hippie vibe to it. So I'm not really into that style of music. And they don't really give them a chance in that sense because they see, like, the, pot smoking kind of, tie-dye.
Grateful Dead.
Just kind of like that. It's the Grateful Dead crowd, but it's younger.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. But that's the thing is I think that alone kind of turns some fans off or some people off of trying to be into the, listening to the band because it's not, what the image they want to stick with or be associated with. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like I said, it's the fans can, I guess, turn you away from things, but personally, it never does me. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm gonna have to be honest about that one thing here when it comes to something like Grateful Dead. Again, I'm just opening up here, all honesty, all cards on the table. The sort of lifestyle promoted by something like the Grateful Dead has never been my thing.
Yeah.
So that alone, I'm like, I don't really see how I would fit in any kind of community like that. Now, I'm not a fan of music anyway. I heard the music and I was turned off by it even before I knew anything about any association with it. But the other stuff just really cemented it for me. I'm like, okay, I don't like your music and I have no reason to reach out to any of you, like, bless all of your hearts. You have fun, you do your thing, but I'm just not into it. You know what I mean? Like, so in that instance, like, I can see why you're less likely to, you're not going to invest much time into something that you don't think is going to be worth your time. You know what that means? Like, that sounds like a tautology in a way. But what I mean with that is, like, you're not going to like the Grateful Dead, they make music that I'm about, and then they're all about things, whatever, and like drug use that I'm not interested in. I'm just gonna turn it off and go somewhere else. Like you have nothing there to keep me keep me hooked, so to speak.
Spin Doctors. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's the band you were thinking of?
Yes. Really? Yes. It's like I said, they had it and then it lost it when I started talking about them. The Spin Doctors. But yes, what you're talking about, the Grateful Dead and their philosophy in that sense.
Right. Especially because I mean, for the longest, here's the thing, and actually now I transition into a very good example. So for the longest time, I sort of was into let's say the straight edge,
yeah,
scene as a teenager. So that was my thing. So even though, and I don't identify with it anymore though, because not that my lifestyle has changed, it hasn't. I don't drink or take drugs or do any of that stuff now or smoke, just like I did then. But because it was the association of the fans themselves that made me not want to identify. Even though, I could still listen to bands that would fall under the straight edge punk scene, and I still pretty much follow the lifestyle of a straight edge person. I don't identify with it strictly because my exposure to the fan base. So that's even a better example, because what I saw was where my stance is more like, you know what, live and let live. You do your thing, I do my thing. My reason for abstaining from these things, they're personal. They're just, I was never into it. I never got into it. Let me just finish the point. I never got into it. Whereas a lot of them became more like, these are our commandments. If you do not follow these commandments, you are a betrayer. You are filthy scum. You are subhuman.
I was about to say.
And when I got when that's the move, even though I wouldn't be the outsider there, I'd be included into the group. I wasn't comfortable with projecting that to an outsider. Well, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be in any way identified with you guys. So it didn't. I didn't okay, so now I'm just gonna go, smoke and drink and take all the drugs because I don't want to associate with you. I don't want to associate with you. I'll just stop calling myself straight edge. Yeah, and I'll still keep my own morals, but I'll just do. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like I was gonna say, there's one thing that religion and people who do straight edge have in common. They like to try to shove it down your damn throat. And any religion, they try to shove it down your throat. Now, not all straight edge people, as you mentioned, I was
one of them for a long time.
Not religion, because all people with the religion try to shove it down your throat no matter what. But anyways, not all straight edge people try to shove it down your throat. I mean, there are a majority. Well, I can't say majority, but there are a few people who will be like, yeah, I'm straight edge, I don't drink, whatever. But they're not going to be like, oh no, well you're wrong, you can't be. Drinking this and that. I'm straight edge, so I can't see you doing that.
The people who identify with it, with the punk scene, tend to be more dogmatic about it than people who just casually use it.
But then again, I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, like I said, I think that's the one thing that religion, religious people and straight edge people have in common. They try to shove it down your damn throat. Well, quite a few of them, at least. And then, the whole religious aspect of, well, I'm straight edge, so I'm religious. I was like, no, you don't have to be religious.
There are two kinds. There's some people who are totally secular strategy, but it's not hard to transition from somebody who, at least if they grew up in a very religious, repressed mindset, why they would go into strategy, which is totally not why I was I don't have what they would call a past with drugs or anything else. I never started it. I just sort of stayed there it wasn't my thing. I don't have a negative association. I wasn't even abused by raving
drug I think both of us have actually had the religious people who come to your door and knock on your thing. I used to be like you, brother, drinking all the time, smoking all the time. It's actually no, I've never drank, never smoked. I'm straight edge, and I'm not religious.
That's what made it.
That's the the one thing both of us actually
made it hilarious for me. I used to think just like you, brother. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I used to think life was all about boozing it up and taking drugs, and I'm like, dude, I've never had any of that shit. I am probably way as far as a past goes, I'm pretty sure that dude that was preaching to me has more of a past with that shit than I do. But here's the thing though, as far as I want to be associated, even right now as I was telling the story, before I started, I hesitated telling it because I was like, I don't want people to associate me with that shit. I even hesitate. Wait, do I want to say this? Do I want my name to be associate with this forever. Like, so it can be, and it's strictly like this, for example, we saw like better examples was kind of, it's partially the band, partially the fans, partially public perception of, or misconception of the band and the fans. No, this will be an example which really, it's the fan base that totally turned me on. That made me not even want to have anything to do with it, which is why I don't identify with it any longer, even though nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Like, I'll still listen to the same bands.
Yeah.
I just won't call myself as part of the team.
I mean, that's the thing is, I still listen to the same, straight edge bands and stuff like that. But, I still do call myself straight edge when people are like, oh, you do this, you do that. I was like, no, I don't do that stuff. They'll ask, oh, are you straight edge? Like, yeah. Without the religious connotations to it. Yes,
straight edge is interesting because for the average person, they don't identify it as a music community. They don't identify it as a music genre at all because they don't know. It's become a casual term. So people who have never heard a single punk song, let alone a straight edge punk song, are like, oh, I'm going to be straight. Any people who are not even straight, they're like, I'm straight edge tonight. Like the designated driver is like, oh, I'm straight edge tonight. Like, which, to... Again, these dogmatics, like people who are really into like that community, they were like, "How dare you? Don't appropriate our labels so casually. It means something much deeper." Even though I don't. Again.
But like I said, I still personally, if asked, I would do say it's okay. I'm straight edge, whatever. I don't smoke, drink, any of that stuff. So on and so forth. But I'm not like, oh, I'm straight edge. Don't you ever dare to offer me this stuff? And I was like, no. It's like, you can offer me all you want. I'm not going to take it. I have people coming up to me, asking me if I smoke pot and stuff. I'm like, no, I don't. That stuff, it stinks. It's bad for you. It makes you stupid. No. And that alone is not because I'm straight edge. I'm saying it's because it's a fact. It's, but that's a whole different thing. People do associate me to be in a different culture in a sense. And that's just because my image.
Look, for the most part, a lot of people associate more importance to whatever identity they're choosing to, and a lot of times with fans, be they straight edge fans with juggalos or anything else, really diehard Limp Bizkit fans, and a lot of times most people don't give as much of a shit about your identity as you do. Like most people don't. People will be like, does the fact that, that I pretty abstain from alcohol, does it have any impact on my social life? Most people, if they ask me, like, hey, what are you drinking? If I say, like, I'm not going to drink anything, like, I'm not drinking, like, they'll say, okay, whatever. And then they move on. Like, most people aren't that invested in me. They don't give a shit why I do the things I do. And it's not even so much about like being respectful as it is about being apathetic. And that's the most. But for a lot of people who in this, they feel like somehow the world is interested and you must now either explain or defend where you're coming from. So a lot of times people who are fans of bands that might have a, let's say, poor public reputation, who is sort of seen as either jokes, they feel like, no. Even if not asked, I must defend.
Like a lot of juggalos.
It comes up, I must defend. Well, juggalos are weirder because they operate more like, they call themselves a family.
Family.
And a lot of the people who are in that group are usually people who are picked on, people who are sort of see themselves as being more, let's say, not the popular kid in school. It tends to be more like people who are so they sort of they create their own little. Like the emos did the same thing. They were sort of
their own little clique.
Outcasts, so they created their own clique. Like they couldn't get in, like they weren't accepted by the other cliques. So like, I'm just gonna make my own. It's gonna be the opposite. You're all about bright stuff and sunshine. I'm gonna be about dark stuff and rain, like thunder and shitty poetry.
But Just to put it out there, for those who think that we're against juggalos, I used to date one. So screw you guys.
And that's the thing, like,
and it's not because she was a juggalo that I broke up with her. She broke up with me. No, I'm totally joking.
You weren't juggalo enough.
I wasn't into Twisted and all that other juggaliness.
You didn't want to get a hatchet tattoo. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The thing, but here's as far as I think Juggalos should absolutely have their own little community.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think they should be on any FBI gang list. I think they're
no.
like, I'm pretty, some juggalos committed crime. Every single soccer hooligan. How many soccer hooligans are out there? Like a Manchester United fans being put down as like a gang. Like it's silly.
Yeah.
But it's equally as loosely based. As that.
But I mean,
so
that's
like so anything I've said right now, like people shouldn't misconstrue that as like I'm saying these people shouldn't exist. They shouldn't have their own little space where they do their thing. Like go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's for an outsider.
Yeah.
Like this is a perspective that they might take.
Yeah.
It's not an insult to you. I'm just trying
anything,
to explain how an outsider might.
If anything, if the Juggalos are on the FBI, gang list, so it should be like all militias, all white supremacists,
the National Rifle Association,
National Rifle Association,
they got guns.
KKK, all of them. They should all be on
KKK is,
but all of them should be on the same list. Same thing, and not all those groups are. Yeah, a few of them are, but not all of them.
Yeah, well, you can start.
But that's the thing. It's funny the fact that a group of fans to a band is on that list as a gang when, yes, they can be misconstrued because they are a little bit weird. I mean, calling having the whatever the things they have in the forest, their gatherings. Thank you. Calling each other family. It's kind of odd, but I mean. There's only a few bad cookies in there who, did bad things. Because, I mean, you could do the same thing as any, rock show.
Well,
there's people being beaten,
I can find
all the time.
I can find Fleetwood Mac fans who've probably done.
They are the most mellow people ever.
Until they snap.
Until
Mumford & Sons fans are just sort of purging on the street.
But I mean, that's the thing is any group you can think of, there are a couple bad, cookies,
I mean,
as I said, or apples, as people
lot of
would
people
say.
have different
But I
tastes.
mean, that's the thing is, I mean, you go to a rock show, and also there's a whole thing on that. Going to rock shows, metal shows, whatever, and people are like, oh well, why do you get in the pit? Why do you do that? Why do you like to be beat up? There's only a few people in the pit that will actually start throwing punches and try to beat each other up, stuff like that. Most of the time you go down, someone's going to try to help you up. Just don't get put down. Don't go down. You go down.
You can get trampled.
Get your hell out of there and get the hell out of there. Or
don't go into
if you're a 90-pound female, don't go into the damn pit.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get your ass whooped. And it's not because you're a female. It's because you're freaking 90 pounds and you're tiny.
It's like when people go running with the bulls in Spain. Like, listen, there's a good chance you're going to get run over. But
I mean, that's the thing is, I've seen pits. Like, I don't like the pits. I like metal stuff, and I don't like being in the pits. And I've been in front of the pits, so where people are bumping into me in the back. And I've seen 200-pound guys getting their ass whooped. And some little 90-pound, girls trying to come in like, get the hell out of here. It's like it's not because you're a girl; it's because you're freaking 90 pounds.
That's
the thing is you have to if you're gonna put one group like the Juggalos as they're a gang, rock band people can be a gang because they do violence at concerts. Yeah. Not many Juggalos do that. Yeah, at ICP concerts. So I mean, whatever. That's my tangent.
And that's where having good bouncers sort of becomes a necessity because they should they should be allowed to regulate. I know for a lot of fans, they're like, oh, we don't want them involved. We don't want them there. But there's a reason why they need to be there. Okay? Like, there are people who can actually... there are people who legitimately can get injured, possibly killed.
Yeah.
Like, in these events, I know you're just having fun, and I know I don't want to sound like an old man talking down to the kids, but even when I was a kid, I felt this way. Like, I'm not a fan of the mosh pits. Look, I'm not going to I wouldn't ban them or anything.
Yeah.
I get the adrenaline rush you get from it.
But here's something on
that. Don't
participate
as well.
if
you really find danger.
But there's certain fans that are like that. They want to get in there. They want to cause as much trouble as they can. And then certain bands will actually stop the show and say, "Hey, get that guy out of here. He's not making it a fun environment. He's trying to injure people." I've seen bands actually stop shows and say, "Hey, get him out of here. Hey, we're not here to throw punches. Right. We're here to have fun. You want to do a mosh pit, you do your mosh pit, but don't be fighting. Don't cause pain. Do circle pits like old, punk shows and stuff like that. That was chaos, but not many people got hurt.
Controlled chaos.
Yeah, it was chaos. If you see a circle pit, you're like, what the hell's happening? Everyone's going in a freaking circle, and you're like, there's a cult thing happening here. What the hell's happening? What's happening? And it's just everyone's having fun. No one's getting hurt. You know, but that's the thing is I've seen bands do that, and it's like with those bands that I have seen do that, I've actually gained more respect for them and like actually enjoyed their music a little bit more because they're actually there for the fans. You know, as the fans kind of wanted to make people not want to like that style of music or that band. The band actually steps up and is like, hey, don't judge us by these guys, these few idiots that we have here causing trouble. Judge us on our music or whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
There's sort of like whatever, the small minority of fans who feel like that's, you're trespassing on their fun. Yeah. Like as far as that goes, I think you get over yourself in that regard. Look, you can have fun with yourself if you want to. If you're in your group of friends, yes, I know, no pun intended or pun intended. Yeah. Like if you and your friends want to circle jerk each other, by running into each other.
Circle Jerks, pretty good band.
Yeah, nice reference. It wasn't intentional though. Yeah. Like if you and your friends want to run into each other, and that's your idea of fun, that's great. Don't involve people who might not want to be in it or who might not want to play as rough as you do.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Like if there's a momentum that's there. Don't disrupt it because you think it'll be more fun now to start, pushing harder or start, doing a bunch of stupid shit that the other person in front of you may not have signed up for.
Yeah.
And that's the part that they seem to be forgetting. They keep going it's my fun, it's my ride, that part of the, whatever, the arena is for me. You're not the only one there.
Yeah.
You're not the only fucking person, and the people around you have as much fun, right to have fun as you do. Stop fucking screaming Freebird at every single goddamn song. I'm sorry I had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
It ruins every damn show.
Yeah.
I know one is not like the other. Mosh pits and that.
Yeah.
It's just personal pet peeve.
Yeah. But I mean, there's one thing I haven't mentioned, and I think it's got away from one podcast as well. Since we're talking about fans.
Yeah.
The fans of the dumbass Trump.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't make it. We're almost out of time.
Trump. I've never liked Trump, and his fans make me hate him even more. Yes, he's not music, but all his supporters, which are fans, they don't make a good argument to even have my mind changed. No one's gonna change my mind on him. He should be impeached. He's a dumbass. That's the thing is that they all say the same damn thing, and they don't want to change their mind or even see the truth of what the hell's happening or what this freaking idiot's doing.
Okay, just let me put on Trump. Let me take off my music discussion hat and put on my political discussion hat for a second there. Just for the people who say you need to be open-minded about if an open-minded person, man, you should give him a chance. The thing is, it's not like I didn't know who the fuck Donald Trump was before he started running for president. It wasn't like some no-name Amish schmuck who just wandered into the White House, no history before. I knew who he was. I knew he was a dumbass. I know how he behaved. I've seen him give talks before in interviews, and he sounded like a dumbass who didn't know anything. And now he's proven himself to be a dumbass in the White House who doesn't know anything. It's not hard. Within the first 100 days, he kept appointing people who did not fit to be in their positions. You want examples? What's the point of putting in someone who doesn't believe in public schools to be in charge of public schools? Why are you putting a guy who has no history doing anything remotely related to housing to be in charge of that? The guy who thought the energy department needs to be taken away is in charge of the energy department. These are very specific examples I'm giving you. This isn't like, I'm just some lib schmuck who just doesn't like the fact that there's an assertive alpha male in charge. What fucking alpha male? He cries on fucking Twitter. If you so much as dare mention the most simplest criticism, what I just mentioned right now, are specific examples and they're legitimate examples. He would cry on God. If I was somebody important enough, he'll never hear me talk, so it doesn't matter. But he fucking cries on Twitter for less than that. He cries on Twitter if you say that his speech was meh. You're like, loser, how dare you? Who are you to say? He got into an argument debate with Schwarzenegger about the fucking Apprentice ratings. Who gives a shit?
Which he should have no...
He still has producer credit. He has producer credit on it. Why you even? And then he starts bashing. Oh, you know what? the Apprentice ratings on Schwarzenegger not as good as they were with me. Yeah, the first season? You want to know what the ratings were in the last season you were on? They were shit because no one gave a damn anymore about it because the show had been on for a decade. Okay, but you can't explain it to him. Again, if you tried, you tell him, he'll tell you some stupid non sequitur and then he'll tweet about it. So for the people who are saying like, you just don't like some strong assertive, he is the weakest fucking pussy you can put on there. Okay, he's the cunt of cunts on there.
Yeah, you're going even further than I normally do.
Like, no, but I mean, like,
further.
it's annoying because every goddamn day his fan base, okay, you want a fan base, like a music equivalent, a political, his fan base just is the dumbest group of individuals you can imagine. If you would have put Trump as some kind of a protest vote, or because you were like, you know what, it can't get any worse than how it is, or you don't like establishment, by now you should really reconsider your option. You should at least be honest enough to say, you know what, yeah, that dude's a fucking joke and he's a jackass.
Oh, yeah.
At least give me that. Don't sit there saying I have no legitimate grievances because I just listed them to. I didn't even mention the whole Russia thing.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah.
All of them said like, oh, you just got conspiracy things like question. No. I gave you very specific shit. Address the very specific shit I gave you. Don't go on a tangent about some simple and then I go like, what, you think that Hillary Clinton would listen to our podcast before the election, the shit I was saying about Hillary. So don't even give me that tangent. You've got nothing that you're protecting the giant over-bloated fucking pussy that's in the White House, okay? Who cries about everything. Fucking World War III is gonna start because that jackass and that other fucking asshole and pussy in North Korea.
The two big boys.
Yeah, the two most sensitive little bitches on the planet are having a tiny micro penis measuring competition with each other. And all of us can suffer because of that. Okay, so that's why children should not be allowed into that realm.
Yeah.
People who think like little kids, and that's what Trump was from the beginning. That's what that dictator was. Now no one's going to get over him because a fucking dictator. He need to overthrow him in order to get to that point. So I understand why he's in this position. We're in a country where you vote for your goddamn leader, and we voted in the dumbest choice possible. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's for any of you out there who might even want to try to argue with me about this. Did I go enough on a tangent?
Yes, nice.
Okay, you want a drinking game and say it's a blasphemy? There, now everyone's pretty much wasted like
they're
crazy.
wasted, but yes. You see, that's the thing though. I mean,
what, fan bases?
Fan bases, yeah. We're just talking about fan bases. Like Trump's fan base, they're a bunch of dumbasses, like you just said. They don't want to admit that they made the wrong choice or made a stupid decision. They want to stand by him. It's like, oh no, she's doing a great job. It's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. And then those people who are like, oh no, he's a dumbass, this and that. He goes to the public. They're like, oh no, he's not. He's okay, I guess. Yeah. It's like, no, he's not. There are way too many people afraid of what the hell he's going to do when he can't do a damn thing if you're nobody. If enough people get together and actually say something about it, talk to their senators, talk to their politicians. Those politicians are actually going to start doing something about it. Why? Because they want to get freaking voted in next term. So that's the thing is they're bigger chickens than anything. They may say, "Oh no, he's doing a great job," but I bet you if most of the freaking nation actually turns in and says, "You know what? Impeach that asshole. He's not doing anything. He's going to cause freaking World War III." The Japanese are freaking terrified. South Koreans are terrified, all because of freaking two babies bickering at each other. And, one saying he has nukes. Yes, we have nukes too, but we have a dumbass who is willing to hit the damn button anytime he gets freaking, told something. He needs his diaper changed again. Freaking, yeah.
So that's my rant?
That's the thing is, I mean, if people would actually say stuff to their freaking politicians, and politicians would step up and start doing stuff and try to impeach this asshole to get him out. But I mean, that's the thing is there's too many people who are like, the fans, the ones who actually say things, the supporters, they'll say things, about him, and they're like, oh, well, no, he's doing a great job. But then when you tell them the facts, like everything you said, and we've stated this before, they're like, well, no, they're a bunch of deniers. It's just, whatever. I can't stand him. But anyways, we should probably get off this because we'll just go too far tangents.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably, we had that one. The one time we took a complete pause from all music and what episode was right after the election. We were like, you know what, we just have to do this political one. You know what, and everything was said about all our grievances with him. Well, dumbasses were like, well, you gotta give him a chance. Again, I know who he is. It's like he's not some dude I never heard of before. Yeah, you know, it's not like I wonder how Senator Kasich is going to be as president. Like I know who he is.
Just another side note, but dealing with Trump, I just recently came across someone put like I guess a bunch of things he said, not everything he said, but a bunch of things he said into a poetry book. So it's Donald Trump's poetry. They pretty much said everything he said, mixed it around, made it sound like poetry from words he has said.
Like haikus.
So someone is freaking making money off of this dumbass. And he's probably thinking, oh, well, I'm the greatest because they're writing about me.
They'll probably sue them because it's his words.
I'm sure he's proud that some dude's making a bunch of money off of this dumbass. But yeah, I just recently came across it. I'm like, seriously? Someone's gonna spend time and try to make puff up this asshole's freaking hair even more.
Well, it's a funny thing. There is actually a good analogy between let's say whatever it is, like 30% of the Trump supporters, they will not budge no matter what he does. They're gonna stick with it. And, in the words of John Cleese, these are the dumbest people you can ever meet. And people who are really huge, into this fan base, they both have this victim mentality. A lot of people who are really into a band, it's the reason why they're really into it. So people tell you, they love the idea that it's them against everybody else. As much as they say, you're not, you shouldn't misunderstand me, you shouldn't generalize me, you shouldn't simplify my position, my taste. They love when you do it because that gives them the idea to be I'm the outsider. I'm the victim. And I see a lot of Trump fans, even though they say they're against that. Again, they say everybody, you just you're part of the the pussy libs over there who can't handle any sort of criticism. But the way they always phrase is everyone's against us. We're the victims. We're the oppressed. It's somehow Trump is the embodiment standing up for the oppressed. Yeah. All of a sudden. But it's just a funny dynamic that develops. When you really have an obsessive mindset about something, be it a politician and be it music. Yeah. You develop that. You sort of become unhinged from reality in a way. And that's why I think it's more important to remain not necessarily open-minded to everything, because some things are stupid. And some positions are clearly stupid. You don't have to be open-minded to those. You can be open-minded enough to investigate it, but you can conclude that they're stupid. You don't have to give them some level of credibility. But to remain versatile enough where you're at least open to hearing something from the outside. And that's the problem, is when you become insulated. Yeah. And for anybody says you're not open to hearing anything about Donald Trump, I've heard it. Again, I gave you specific examples I disagree with. Address those before you go into anything else. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna close it off with that. Yeah. And I'm gonna shout about Trump off microphone for a couple of hours. All right, catch you guys next week.
All right, you guys. See you.